Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR Today for Tuesday morning, June 14th, 2022. The man they call Meathead and filling in for Linda Kay, who's dealing with our friend Shane Helms, the hurricane in Oak Creek. I'm just kidding. It wasn't a hurricane, but they had some big storms down in the OC. So joining us this morning instead is the one and only Matthew Thomas.
Hey, well, thank you, the man they call Meathead. Glad I could come in a pinch here and do a little bit of pinch hitting. I guess I'm this morning's pinch hitter,
You didn't even know that you were going to be on. You were all oiled up from last night watching Raw in that main event.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you just got to get with the spirit of the program.
I'm hoping that you can hold on to your microphone.
Hey, if I slip, I slip, man.
Well, I don't want us to slip while we're wearing our collar and elbow. So tell us how we can get it with 10% off.
Hey, you head over to collarandelbowbrand.com, and if you want to pay full price, yeah, you can pay full price. But if you want to save 10%, Linda K, enter promo code Linda K, LINDAKAY, saves you 10%, and you can just you can back the truck up per se and load up all your new collar and elbow gear.
There you go. And there's been a lot of shipping promos lately, too. I hope they're gearing up for the 4th of July, getting everybody all collar and elbowed up. Uncle Al is a tag team champion. I don't know if you heard the news.
I did. That's, oh, man. Breaking development. I think PWR Today was the first show to break it, if I'm not mistaken, yesterday.
Well, as far as the mass media, those that were in attendance saw it happen.
Yeah, but, still the first media outlet. That says something.
Yeah, let's make our way to another media outlet that, we used to mock back in the day, but they do have breaking stories, and they weren't the ones that break it, but I will tell you that they've confirmed it. Matthew, I said before off the air that I don't want to have to talk about it, but I think we have to. Yeah. Jeff Hardy, again, pulled over for DWI, driving while intoxicated, or under the influence, or whatever the acronym is for a Florida man arrested. This time, Jeff Hardy was said to have a blood alcohol content of 0.294. For the love of all that's holy, that is almost 3/10 of his body weight in alcohol.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this how many times that we've gone over this story. It happens over and over again. I think at this point, any company that hires him or books him is doing him a disservice. It's well past time to go away from the professional wrestling industry and get the help he needs. That's all that's got to happen here.
It's the third time since 2018 that he's been accused of driving while under the influence. In 2018 of March, he was charged with DWI in North Carolina after getting into a car wreck in North Carolina. 2019, arrested for DWI. And, right after the arrest in 2019, he went on the After the Bell podcast with Corey Graves saying that he's receiving his professional help. Now, they were booked for tomorrow night's show of Dynamite in a triple threat tag team match, a ladders match? That match is gone. Tony Khan has pulled that match from the card.
As well he should.
Let's step back a second. I think you should pull the Hardys from that match.
Yeah. No, you can do the two other teams. That's fine. But you've just got
the whole match is pulled right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and if hopefully there's created for Jeff. For Matt, and Matt can continue his AEW run, but as far as the Jeff thing goes now, it's just he's thankfully he's still here. He's still safe. Yep. He hasn't taken anybody else out in this process. Right. But my goodness, man, you keep rolling those dice, you're not always going to be as lucky.
The match was supposed to be the Young Bucks, the Hardys, and Jurassic Express. Why wouldn't they put FTR in that match?
Yeah, and you can still run Jurassic Express and Young Bucks here. And a matter of fact, I think this would be a match, just that one-on-one match like that would really highlight Jurassic Express. Let them see what they can do, in a one-on-one with the Bucks and ladders.
Let's ask this question. Was this match specifically supposed to be the Bucks and the Hardys with another team in the middle, just to continue on the Bucks and Hardys?
Yeah, very possible. Very possible.
And is that done forever?
I think so.
Man, We've said this a couple times that we didn't need Cody to do what he had done physically to entertain us. And we had said this a few times too, looking at Jeff Hardy. Jeff, you got to stop.
Yeah.
No more, please. I want Jeff Hardy to be around. I want to hear his Hall of Fame acceptance speech. I want to see him mentoring new kids. I want to see him be a manager in AEW 20 years from now to the next young up-and-coming team. It's not going to happen if he continues on with this shit.
No, not at all. I mean, we've had this conversation in TNA, we've had it in WWE, we've had it in AEW now. The guy needs to step away and get the help he needs. That needs to be the number one focus at this juncture. There's really, I mean, how many times on this very program did we say the same thing about Sonny?
Yeah. Let's move on. Troy Donovan, Dimes, 2 Dimes, he was released. We talked about this yesterday on the program. He had comments, and really, it's not said exactly what he did, but he says, thank you for everybody that's reached out. Mistakes happen, lessons learned. It's a bump in the road that doesn't define me. I'll be back. It was said to be a policy violation. I don't know if he ate Triple H a sandwich off the counter when he actually had his name on the wrapper, but he's gone.
Yeah, and that's so 20 cent is that, huh?
Well, 2 dimes. I mean, if you're doing the math, yes, it's 20 cents.
Yeah, well, I mean, hopefully it wasn't anything crazy egregious that put himself.
If he had a ham and cheese loaf, if Triple H makes a ham and cheese loaf and puts it on some fresh Wonder Bread, and then all of a sudden 2 dimes takes a bite out of it, that's egregious.
Yeah, and it's a policy violation, and so it's thankfully nothing else is he seems pretty confident he's going to be back, and he's
James Hetfield said nothing else matters, when he was talking about the ham and cheese loaf.
That's very true. So yeah, we'll see, and we'll see what happens with Tony D'Angelo's family. Hey, it's a good thing he won that match because he's got plenty of people in his family now.
That's right. Hey, let's move on to some newer news, that is. So that Forbidden Door pay-per-view is going to be happening next week, Sunday, in Chicago. It'll be AEW versus New Japan Pro Wrestling. There are 3 talents that are in AEW that will not be working that pay-per-view due to their contracts with AAA and their rivalry with New Japan and CMLL. So AAA and CMLL are these huge rivals in Mexico. Andrade El Idolo and the Lucha Brothers, to make sure that it's not seen that they're working with New Japan, and siding with CMLL, will not work the pay-per-view. Is this weird to you? Does it feel a little bit off? Because the current AAA tag team champions happen to be FTR.
Yeah. Well, it just goes to show how special the Forbidden Door is. Not everybody can enter through the Forbidden Door. But my real question is, I know AAA is not going to be there, but will Triple H be there to sing in Ruby Soho again?
If he gets another sandwich, I guess. I don't know. Well, a lot of Triple H news today. You know what I mean?
It really is. It's something.
Let's talk about the results of Raw from last night, Matthew. I know that you got called on short notice. I know you got in all 3 hours of Raw, which continued with about maybe an hour's worth of matches and then 2 hours of commercials and entrances. We joke, folks, but I want you to do the math one day. I'm telling you, it's do the math. How much actual content you get?
Yeah, it's amazing. And that's the thing, man. With me being live these last couple of weeks, it's amazing when you watch it as it's happening. How long you're waiting? How long people are waiting in ring? How long you'll have, these 2 stretches of commercial break and just really nothing.
And then they wonder why, Matthew, that the unofficial announced attendance last night in Kansas and Wichita, 3,167.
Is that not amazing?
3,167. That was an embarrassment for house shows in the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
And this is a live Monday Night Raw.
And the thing of it is, too, it's amazing that Raw will ever get that. And it's coming 2 years after you didn't have the option of going to a Raw after everybody was in their house. Everybody was holed up in their house watching it on TV in the Thunderdome. And if anything, you would think there would still be some desire out there to experience wrestling live. And
but maybe they know that they're getting 1 hour of wrestling in 5
Yeah.
hours of being at that show.
Yeah. I'll tell you, man, I went, when did I attend? Man, it was earlier this year. It was
The Denver show.
Yeah. It was
where they did the game show.
Yeah, it was between the Rumble and Elimination Chamber, I think. So you didn't really feel like you were on the road to WrestleMania per se because you had to hold over.
No, it was the quiz show with RK Bro and the Alpha Academy.
That was the opening segment, man. And
I gotta say, 45 minutes.
I gotta say, the vibe from that Raw was different than any other Raw that I've been to ever. It feels different now, man. I mean, it feels more so than ever like you are in a studio audience, not attending a wrestling show, not attending a live event, but you are in a studio audience. And I think people are starting to figure that out.
The show opened up last night with Miz TV with Paul Heyman. And you know what? If it wasn't for we have this black cloud of what we just talked about, nobody in the building, studio audience, this would have been a great segment. I thought it was a good segment.
Yeah, but I think
for a wrestling TV fan, I thought it was a good segment.
The problem here, and I think that you're reminded, you're building up to Roman on Friday, but to me, this reminded me, my goodness, you haven't had your champion on TV in how long? You haven't had your champion at a pay-per-view event in how long? This started off...
Well, they had WrestleMania Backlash where they had the 6-man.
Yeah. It's just, they are... I'm not saying they're without star power in the fact that they are lacking stars, but who WWE tells you is a star, namely Roman, namely Cody, your two big stars are not on your shows now. And they are struggling to have that person or those persons on your Raw and on your SmackDown each week that they have told you to believe is important. And to me, this was just reemphasizing that.
Well, the segment sets up a stipulation for Friday's match that if Riddle can't win, he can never wrestle for the Universal Undisputed Championship against Roman again. So he'll be the new Cody Rhodes of Raw. Montez Ford and Jimmy Uso with a singles match. And we get this, 20, 25 minutes, into the hour before we get any wrestling. But that's okay. I like watching Montez Ford wrestle. And he took on Jimmy Uso. The winner of the match was Jimmy Uso defeating Montez Ford via pinfall.
Yeah, no, I mean, two great in-ring technicians. To me, it's just missing the stakes. Not the steaks you put on the grill, not the steaks you're getting ready for July 4th.
Do fries go with those steaks?
Hey, you very easily you could get some fry. You could even go over to Five Guys and have Five Guys.
I've never done Five Guys before.
Well, you know what? I was thinking about it last night and
thinking about doing Five Guys.
Yeah, they were closed. They were unavailable. So was not to be, I guess. But I think the problem that I'm having with
folks, look up Five Guys burgers. Trust me, this is a joke about a hamburger chain.
Yeah, everybody knows what Five Guys is.
No,
but
go ahead.
But yeah, like we get it, and I know this is a raw analysis, so we're not going to try to spend too much time on the other company. But you watch Dynamite, you watch Rampage. Very rarely is there a match that doesn't have some type of importance, whether somebody's just going to move up in the rankings, whether somebody's going to advance in a tournament, or whether somebody's going to do something. Raw, it is a rare occasion, and you had a few with Money in the Bank qualifiers last night, but it's a rare occasion when a match on a Raw doesn't feel like it's just a filler to be taking place for no real reason. This kind of falls in that line.
We get maybe 1 to 2 matches per Raw that means something.
Yeah.
Now, the only reason we're having more is because of the Money in the Bank stuff. Yeah. But I mean, they're so lacking in content We'll get to the tag team match to qualify for the Money in the Bank in just a second here.
Yeah, let me give them credit though. I will say one thing: I like what they're doing this year. One good thing they are doing on both shows, they're not completely giving you the Money in the Bank the Money in the Bank match, the card on the first show back from the other pay-per-view. They're having it build throughout the course of the weeks. We're having qualifying matches.
Yeah.
So we are building to something. It's not like in years past where it's been these are the 6 men, these are the 6 women, and we know our main events, yada yada yada, in just weeks of just getting there. So they are making an effort in that regard.
All right. So interview with Seth Rollins, talking about what, dastardly move he did with Cody Rhodes. Now, this was necessary, right? You have to continue to build Cody as this huge face that's out injured and Seth as this huge heel. But also, they're so lacking in anything going on Raw. I can't see how they can get away with not having him have a match.
Yeah.
At least in the beginning of the show.
Yeah. No, you've just gotta you're stretching here, man.
Yeah, real stretching. All right. I actually kind of like the fact that they brought Dana Brooke in to Becky Lynch's kind of gravitational pull, right? Even though it's the 24/7 and Becky at the end trashed the 24/7 belt. But I like that in her gravitational pull, she pulled Dana Brooke in. That's supposed to give the rub to Dana Brooke. But what we saw was a really hot, and I thought it was very intense, kind of back and forth between Asuka and Becky.
Yeah. And I like being reminded that Dana Brooke is technically still a women's division wrestler. We kind of forget about that when she's out of that orbit with that title, having people chase her around.
I like you did that. Orbit from gravitational pull.
Space and NASA and rockets and aliens. Oh, yeah. And you're right. But, I mean, Becky Lynch and Asuka, they have a non-title feud. And that's one thing that I do like, especially in that women's division, when you have got feuds removed from the title picture, and that's what they're doing now. So we'll kind of get I don't know if it's a payoff to that next week, but we'll get another escalation in that next week.
Bliss and Liv Morgan took on Doudrop and Nikki ASH because there's tag teams in the Money in the Bank, right?
Oh, of course they are.
Wait, I thought in the Money in the Bank it's every woman for themselves.
Well, you can have a Money in the Bank qualifier to get 2 people in there. That way you get it's one less match you have to play.
Were they short? I was going to say, were they short on time? They had to combine a match?
Well,
you get my point that I'm making here.
There was nothing they could have cut from the show.
Oh, boy. I mean, they could have made 2 matches out of that.
Yeah. No, and that would have been the preferential thing for me because it gives you another featured segment there, but was not to be, Meathead.
Well, they come back for the break after the AJ Styles attack. Who did it for The Rock? I mean, did it for Cody Rhodes. And Seth Rollins and AJ Styles will meet in a Money in the Bank qualifier match later on in the night. Now, they show Bliss tossing Lynch off the ladder in 2018 to win a Money in the Bank. Again, I think the build to Money in the Bank has been pretty good. We got a pretty abysmal show, but you know what? The build to this particular pay-per-view and this match is working, okay? It is absolutely working. So the Money in the Bank qualifying match, Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan took on Doudrop and Nikki ASH. The winners, Bliss and Morgan, are happy. Hey, we won a match. Oh, but I'm going to fight you at the pay-per-view now because now that we're a team, we're got to be separate again. That's why it should have never been a team to qualify for Money in the Bank.
I do concur with your point there, Meathead.
All right. The commentary team gives us that package on the Judgment Day, and it's subtracting Edge from their ranks last Monday. I really believe, and we didn't talk about this a ton. Do you know why they pulled Edge out of there? Losing Cody, they're going to need Edge to come back and be that power babyface.
No, that's a good
that
point.
Cody injury has got ripple effects.
Yeah, I did not think about that. That's a good point, man.
And I know that we're going to already have Cena come and celebrate the summer of Cena, but I really think he should put in a couple more dates besides just that Laredo date 2 weeks from last night.
No, without a doubt. And
especially 3,187 tickets in sales.
Yeah. No, you got to make it the summer of Cena, the summer of Lesnar, the summer of Stone Cold.
The summer of the
Undertaker,
right? And the Kale, yeah.
Oh my goodness, summer of Bret Hart, man.
Hulk Hogan, what's he doing? Ric Flair, make friends with him. He'll be back. He just had a match, or is going to have a match. I'm telling you, they need to roll out everybody.
Yeah. With that's, I mean, that's like a new era right there. If you're pulling that at Raw,
right. To be completely honest, too, you know, they're doing what has always been coined here at PWR Today, the Frank Cosentino temperature check this Friday on SmackDown with Riddle getting a heavyweight championship, match. So they need to bring them all out.
I'll tell them, trying to check the temperature of main event pose downs. The temperature is probably not going to be too hot for that.
Too hot to handle, too cold to hold. They are the Ghostbusters and they're in control. Let's talk about Ezekiel and Kevin Owens. Ezekiel said after he lost last week, I want my rematch. Kevin Owens said, fine, as long as you admit you're Elias. He goes, fine, I admit that I'm Elias. I knew it. See, I pulled the Kevin Owens there. I lied. I'm Ezekiel. My Zeke freaks.
I love the fact that he's got him some Zeke freaks. And he said something else, too. I can't remember what it was in regards. He's got a new catchphrase as well.
Speak with his Zeke freaks was one of them. I love it. I absolutely love it. Ezekiel defeats Kevin Owens via countout because Kevin Owens was distracted on the commentator's table. And this was the moment of the night for me. Again, pretty poor Raw, but this popped me big time. Next week, the return of his older brother, Elias. How are they going to do it?
Oh, it's going to be Ezekiel with a beard, and he said something. So here's the thing. There was a line in there about Elias's age or this, that, or the other, which makes me think that they're gonna mess the beard up a little bit. Like maybe it's gonna be a solid white beard or something. Like they're gonna get the beard slightly wrong. Like Ezekiel has forgotten, or he's so into it that he's forgotten how old Elias is supposed to be. I think there's gonna be some gold there. Of course, you're just gonna see Elias, which is gonna make Owens, But see,
no, it's gonna start like this. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen, Elias. Bring.
Oh my goodness.
That place, where are they next week? I think it was Lincoln, Nebraska. That place will go banana.
Yeah, it's going to be.
All 4,000 of them.
And the thing of it is, I mean, even though it's the same dude, it is going to be a pop. Like you get somebody returning, man. So I think you're going to really see the brilliance of this angle starting next week. I mean, brilliance has been on display each week, but I think you're really going to see how well this thing could potentially work. And what I want to eventually see when Owen says, oh, you never see you guys in the same place. I want to see some type of backstage segment where it's cheap 1960s, I Dream of Jeannie, Bewitched, Evil Twin type of thing.
Split screen stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I want it, because again, you guys are giving us nothing else. So this is entertaining to me. Bring this out. All right. Hey, let's talk about MVP. We no longer than, say, 6 months ago, watched MVP still come to the ring with a cane. Yeah. This dude's getting matches now week after week.
I like it. Always been an MVP fan, and I like the fact that he's wrestling in ring, man. There's still part of me that still wants to see that original Hurt Business together, and MVP being an active wrestler in that Hurt Business, I would not mind that.
All right, so the match is MVP versus Cedric Alexander. He's got M.O.T.S on the side. Let me ask you, typical wrestling, right? Shouldn't MVP, being the heel, have won with cheating? Like M.O.T.S, shouldn't he have interfered on behalf? Shouldn't Cedric Alexander be like inches away from beating MVP, only to lose due to shenanigans?
One would think, but
because wouldn't that keep Cedric stronger and keep MVP the heel? What was the point of having MVP clean a heel go over a face Cedric Alexander?
I view that as them not really taking any attention to protecting Cedric in this.
I don't think they were protecting him either. I'm just saying, isn't that Wrestling 101?
Yeah, but man, maybe they're trying to take a page out of AEW's book and do them some clean finishes.
No, I don't think they care that much. I really don't think they care that much. So the Cody punch the AJ Styles punch on Seth Rollins, saying that this one's for you, Cody. Styles making his entrance, and here we go. AJ Styles and Seth Rollins. We got a good match.
Yeah.
We're always going to get a good match with these guys. I mean, they know how to wrestle. Okay. With a roll-up, Seth Rollins defeats AJ Styles. I like when it's not, finisher pin. I like when it's something unexpected.
No, without a doubt. The unexpected way to gain the victory, not the finishing move. That's much preferred because it can come out of anywhere. And
finisher out of nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing that I wish they would do in conjunction with that a little bit more so in modern professional wrestling is have some quicker matches. Have that finish out of nowhere come quick.
Raw can't have quicker matches.
Yeah.
You know damn well they can't.
Not that show. But it's where because you at this point you're conditioned to expect finishers, false finishes, and the typical way a match plays out. Just give me a main event of a pay-per-view.
If Dewey, what was his grandma saying? He's Flex Banana now. If Dewey were to debut in WWE right now, he's getting 20 minutes and 3 commercial breaks.
Yeah. No.
Because they don't have anything else.
Yeah.
All right. Riddle got a match. And again, he should be also getting a match. But his match was against Tommaso Ciampa. I think Miz did a great job of putting over Ciampa on commentary.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Ciampa did a great job of putting over himself in the ring. I mean, he is an absolute talent that I wish. Why is that guy not featured more? When you are stretching like you're stretching on Raw, that dude needs to be a main player. And quite honestly, yeah, the Roman Riddle storyline, I mean, it's a rub for Riddle. I don't think it's going to end too favorably for Riddle. No. I would much prefer.
I think it's getting beat down by 4 of them.
Yeah, I would much prefer a month-long angle on Raw between Riddle and Ciampa. I think these two wrestle a similar enough style that they could put on.
Riddle had some MMA stuff right away. Yeah.
Yeah, they could put on an outstanding series of matches, and I think that would be something for. Something for both of them right now. But yeah, we're in a strange spot, man. We're in a strange spot where you've got both of your titles on one person who's really not there. And I'm not talking about just not on Raw or SmackDown. He was not at your last pay-per-view. Word is he's potentially not going to be at your next pay-per-view. WWE is just in a strange spot right now.
So Riddle defeats Ciampa via pinfall, even though, Ciampa was close. Yeah. And I thought it was a great match, and I'd really like to see more of that. Let's talk about the Judgment Day. I absolutely love the look. They said that Edge always thought that he was the leader. Apparently, they're equal. We had talked about who we thought was the leader, and I thought it was Damian Priest.
Yeah.
They say they're all equal. And Rhea Ripley mentions that she got her teeth knocked loose last week. I even saw braces on her. And she was pretty intimidating talking to Bianca Belair.
Yeah, and Rhea actually made a really, really good point that has kind of been out there with Bianca, but it was the first time that I actually heard one of Bianca's opponents bring it up. That's pretty much Bianca's gimmick, is she tells us how she's the best at everything. And it's really kind of a heel gimmick when you stop and think about it. This person that's just consistently spitting that out there, but Rhea making the comment, it's like, yeah, I get in the ring and I show you. And she quintessentially more or less summed up Bianca's gimmick. And I think that it was a nice contrast there between Bianca with the mic in hand, doing the normal Bianca stuff. Mm-hmm. And then you go backstage to this, this professional looking stable there in Rhea, just with a few very stoic words. I like the contrast there. And
I want Bianca to drop now, even though I don't think it's going to happen. I think I'm ready for her to drop.
I want her to drop because I want to see that women's title in this mixed stable. I don't think it's anything we've really seen in the era of the current women's titles, going back even to like the Divas title and everything. I think could be something very, very interesting. And I definitely want to see it. And I don't know. I've kind of got faith that might actually be the direction they go.
Chad Gable and Mustafa Ali, you know what? It was an okay match. There was a really scary spot Corey Graves yells out, I think he's unconscious. I think he's out cold because he took that headshot to the lower turnbuckle in the corner. And then he started moving. I think Chad Gable moved him around and he popped up again. But yeah, that looked a little bit nasty. Hey, let's move right into Veer Mahan and Rey Mysterio. That's what I got.
Yeah.
I think that they're
concern,
shooting him let me just say, I think that they're shooting him in the wrong direction because Veer Mahan not looking as big right now.
Yeah. And I just unfortunately think you've got a shelf life with a build of somebody like a Mahan, not talking about his physical build, but talking about the actual character, because WWE does this every handful of years. You go back to Tensai, you go back to Rusev for a little while. Now I think Rusev was much more successful than a lot of the people kind of in the same build for a while. But
Tensai.
you have these, you've got these crazy monsters that they're high on, and they kind of run.
I mean, if we're gonna go back, we're gonna say Umaga. We're gonna say, Brodus Clay was supposed to be that too.
Yeah, and they seem to run out of steam with what to do, with these guys after a while. So
if they had a bigger roster, maybe they could have something.
But really, it's you feed him jobbers, and then you feed him the Mysterios. What's the Mysterios' daughter doing right now? Maybe she's the next in line.
She's at school, I think, right? Isn't she dating Buddy Murphy?
Yeah. I think so maybe she should be in the House of Black, huh?
Yeah. She's dating Buddy Matthews, Buddy Murphy, or didn't he end up just being Buddy? Like, did he have to lose Murphy, I think?
You know what you should do? The AEW, they should make little buddies like the Child's Play doll.
Well, let's get into the main event and the baby oil. The pose off was the main event, folks. If you hadn't already tuned out on Raw, this was it right here. Matthew, and then Theory squirted his oil all over Bobby Lashley and got it in his eye. And the commentary team really caught me off guard, and I laughed at them at the end. Bobby Lashley's not going to take that standing down. Yeah, he's just walking away. Bobby Lashley always takes that standing down. Look what you did to Bobby Lashley with Brock Lesnar. Bobby always takes that walking away. Bobby Lashley needs to stand up for himself.
Well, he couldn't. He had baby oil in his eye. He had to go wash his eyes out.
Don't cry. Dry your eye. Here comes your mother with those two little guys. Sorry. That's for our old school rap friends.
When they look at, ratings and when they analyze the show, like, I mean,
do they analyze it? Because we just watched the baby oil segment to close it out.
No, I don't think so. I cannot imagine anybody saying this is the way to do this here. This is the bookmark. This is the bookend to put on your show. We're gonna wrap a nice little ribbon around it. Well, you couldn't wrap a ribbon around it because whoever you were trying to wrap up in the ribbon would slip out from the baby oil.
This was tough. This was a really tough one to watch. Like I said, I want to talk about the positives that we pulled out of it, but there was a lot of negatives. It was tough. Let's get this part clear. I still love wrestling, and I still want to watch. I just need more. And whatever it is that you're putting on Monday nights is not working. So for Matthew Thomas, the man they call Meathead, we will talk again tomorrow. I think it's you and Linda, right, for a Wednesday morning doing NXT?
It is, with our NXT 2.0 recap to kick off.
Get some Apollo Crews. Get some Apollo Crews on a
That's
Wednesday
right,
morning.
the latest NXT signee.
If only he were on the big roster, maybe he could have a match.
Hey, and we're going to have the premiere of Gacy's buddies are going to wrestle. The what do they call them?
I don't know, but I just got to make sure they don't have any policy violations.
Oh, yeah. No, not his two guys. The Dyeds, I think, is what they're called. So,
yeah, but hey, coming up this Friday, besides Riddle and Roman Reigns, you know what else we're getting, right?
This Friday, we're
Dupree.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Male models.
Hey, it's a week full of wrestling.
All right. For Matthew Thomas, the man they call Meathead, thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. So long, everyone.